So, can you explain to my followers your name and a little of your background?
Sure, my name is Tony Lumpkin. I'm one of the helicopter pilots here on the Scenic Eclipse. I fly this HC-130 helicopter, tour helicopter. I started out as a Marine. I did 10 years as a Marine medevac pilot. Did some tours over the Grand Canyon after that, through offshore oil, and then I joined the Coast Guard. 13 years flying search and rescue in the Coast Guard to include Kodiak, Alaska, where I got a lot of experience in the Arctic, which helped me out when I was flying in the Antarctic this season. Now, we fly this helicopter, it's our tour helicopter. This is exactly what I think you want to see.
And you were just explaining to me the difference of this helicopter with these seats, how that they can see out. Can you tell them?
Absolutely. So what you'll see here is this is a unique helicopter designed specifically for touring. And what we have is one, it's a very quiet helicopter with light arrangements, some tail fin empennage arrangement, and just the engine itself is one of the quietest helicopters in the industry. It's only 81 decibels, which is actually much quieter than most airplanes in general. In addition, it's very wide. It's like a wide body. You'll see all the way across. It's 4 seats that are spaced out in between with giant leg room, which is very unique to this helicopter. Plus, if you look in the front here, there's 3 seats in the room. I sit all the way on the left. They give us 2 passenger seats up front, which is actually very unique. And this is the only helicopter that actually has 3 front seats, which gives everybody much more chance to sit up front and see out the big windows. Now everybody asks about the back seats, and it's not as bad as you would think, because we fly nose down. And because we fly nose down like all helicopters do, these will be raised up, and you can see out over the top of everybody. We're looking for these big eyebrow lights, we call them, and the big raised windows. You can see just fine out the front, and then these giant side windows. And because of the large leg room, everybody can see out really well from all different angles, and it has become very popular.
Oh, there's windows down by the floor too.
Absolutely. This is like a giant flying glass bubble.
And you had just showed me about the refueling.
Sure.
So, do you ever have to like pull into port and get gas, or it's just right here on the ship?
Well, typically how we do it is we carry 10,000 liters in 2 different tanks, which allows us probably 2 voyages worth of flying. Each voyage in Antarctica, we're flying about 100 people, so we get 400 people flown before we have to actually refuel the entire ship. So the ship itself can refuel. I land here on the boat, and we just do a hot refuel right here in the helicopter, and not when the passengers are around, so in between flights. So it's totally transparent to everybody else. It only takes about 5 minutes. We top off the tanks, and we go back out again.
And how many flights do you usually do a day on a given
It
cruise?
totally depends on where we are and what type of tours we're doing. So say in Antarctica, when we were down there, it was all weather-based, right? So we had very limited windows of weather that was actually safe and appropriate for us to fly in. So typically on a 12-day voyage, 2 days there, 2 days back with a Drake passage, we did this about 8 days in the peninsula. Of those 8 days, I would say 4 were flyable, where it was safe. Now we can fly in a lot worse weather, and I have in the past, but we're not doing that for tours. So on tour days, we're looking for optimal weather, plus the wildlife mitigation and a lot of other rules we can take care of. But on those 4 flyable days, we will fly as many as we can, which is really one of the 2 reasons we fly 2 helicopters. So we have 2 helicopters on board. Right now we only have 1 because other one's just help for maintenance. But we fly 2, both for safety. It's always good to have 2 in case something happens. And then just to get back and forth, we do alternating tours. We did about 90 passengers per day on a clear blue day, which happens every now and then in Antarctica. So we get about 90 passengers a day if both helicopters are flying all day. Now we typically don't have to do that because people here in the Mediterranean or other locations sometimes just want to fly here or there or there. So for example, yesterday we were in Madeira in Portugal. Beautiful day. We flew 9 people. We wanted 2 flights. It's just, that's who is interested in doing that versus going to a short trip. So it kind of changes day by day.
Now, one thing in your talk, I noticed you were saying there's different life preservers for the helicopter as opposed to for the ship. Can you just mention that so people would understand?
Super simple. Just like when you go to the airliners, they've got different safety belts and they've got different life preservers. And everybody knows that you don't inflate your life preserver in the airplane because then you get really big and puffy and it can be hard to go out the door and really separate, and that's the same thing. The ship life preservers are designated if you fall in the water automatically to inflate. Automatically. So, hurt or whatnot, you're going to have to be floating. In a helicopter, you don't want it to automatically inflate. So if you happen to be in a helicopter and it does, it makes it very tight if you're in and out of the helicopter. So
Yeah.
the aviation life vests are specifically designed to be manually inflated. And that's the only way.
So, this looks very safe to me. You've had no crashes, right?
No crashes.
And
none whatsoever.
everybody seems like they would have a wonderful time.
They seemed very happy yesterday. I think 2 flights, 9 folks, almost everybody except for 2 had flown in a helicopter before. And I get that a lot. A lot of people say, well, I've flown a helicopter before, what's the big deal? I said, yes. Have you ever flown off of a ship? Have you ever flown off of a ship in Antarctica or in Madeira, Portugal, or wherever we might find ourselves? And the answer is typically, oh no, we haven't done that. So there's always beauty to be found no matter where this office takes you.
It's far more luxurious. Look at the leather seats than the one I used in Hawaii.
Well, this is a top-of-the-line helicopter. It's brand new. It's 250 hours on this thing, which is less than most people's
Wow.
cars.
Wow.
Pretty quickly. It's well taken care of. We have a specific engineer on board whose only job is to take care of these 2 helicopters and take immaculate care of them. And this is the top end of everything you can imagine in the helicopter industry right here in this helicopter.
Well, thank you. This looks great.
I look forward to
I
flying with you soon.
appreciate it.